As we all know, the purpose of any business is to get consumers to find your product and buy your product. But sometimes in the beauty space, it just feels kind of icky. Like people are always trying to trick us. Like it's not about providing a good product and then showing that it's a good product and then people purchase it because it's good and everybody enjoys it and everything's great. Sometimes in the beauty space, I just feel like we get duped more often than not. And there was an absolutely fascinating article in Glossy this past week where they invited a bunch of beauty executives into New York City and they had this big dinner party kind of thing. And then the people from Glossy interviewed the head people at these major companies about things that are happening in our beauty space and the things that they've revealed. Woo! I cannot wait to share this with you because I find it absolutely fascinating and I know you will too. The other thing I find fascinating is the update for the Forma bankruptcy case. Of course, we have updates there. And this one, my friends, I have been wondering, I don't know about you, but I have been wondering what has been happening with Lipstick Queen when it comes to this, because Lipstick Queen is listed on the Forma website as a Forma brand, but we haven't heard anything about them. They're not declaring bankruptcy. They have now entered the chat and they have some things to say. And yeah, looks like Forma really screwed them over. Intentionally, not intentionally, you'll have to decide that for yourself. We also have a new most followed woman on Instagram, and she is a beauty brand owner. And then when we get into the product report, one of my favorite beauty influencers on the platform right now has launched her own beauty brand. We're going to get into all of that and so much more. So hang tight. We are jumping into it right now. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that is happening in the beauty space right now. I scour the internets and I find all of the things so that you don't have to. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our episode of What's Up in Makeup every single Sunday. With that being said, let's start talking about the dark side of de-influencing from the brand owner's perspective. One thing that I have learned talking to people that are behind the scenes in the beauty space is that everybody knows each other when it comes down to it. Yes, they're competitors, but they also talk. And what do they talk about? Mostly, they talk about us. They talk about the consumer and the trends and what's happening and how it's affecting business. Of course, they're not giving away any trade secrets or anything, but they do talk about what is happening in our space and they brainstorm together. This happened very recently at a dinner that was hosted by the publication Glossy and also Google. They had this big dinner with all these big execs from these major makeup companies. Now, of course, none of them talked on the record. Of course, but they said some very fascinating things. And one of the big topics they talked about was de-influencing. And they made three major points when it came to de-influencing about how it is affecting their personal brands. The first one kind of felt a little reluctant in how it was presented, but it's accountability and that brands are being pushed by influencers in all of the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube mostly, to really make sure that they're providing a quality product for consumers. This helps brands to identify weak points in their line, ways that products can improve, and in the end, it really does help everybody. But the big problem, and this is where they really seem to focus and really started like spilling their guts about it, is where this de-influencing trend of people speaking negatively about products really hurts brands, in that sometimes, and I've seen it happen more often, influencers are not being responsible about how they talk about products in a negative way. They see the de-influencing trend, they just grab a bunch of things and just start speaking negatively about them for views without necessarily any truth behind it. This seemed to be the biggest concern in the article. This is what one executive said. Quote, "It can happen to anybody at any time, and it doesn't matter what the facts are. It's just what people want the story to be. There is this culture among influencers where if something is picking up traction, they jump on it for exposure and personal gain." Now, beyond that, there is also a fear of what is becoming known as social terrorism, which sounds very dramatic, but when you think about how how many employees are at these companies, and that one influencer can truly bring down a hero product or a brand as a whole, if it's not based in reality, I can see where they're calling it social terrorism. This executive shared that they have seen brands pay influencers specifically to trash a competitor's product. This is not a new thing. We have seen this on Instagram and YouTube before, but supposedly it is happening more often, specifically on TikTok. A different executive, not the one we talked about a second ago, but a different one, said that they are working with agencies to identify intentional sabotage and terrorists. Through this, they are working to understand and see social patterns in order to identify and protect themselves from influencer attacks on their brands. Like, where are we? What planet do we live on? This is absolutely nuts. And I think what brands are realizing is that yes, influencers can do amazing things for their brand, but they can also do really bad things as well. The third one had to do with customer loyalty and how to get customer loyalty, because they said, like, eyeshadow palettes, for example, do not inspire brand loyalty. The things that inspire brand loyalty are products like foundations, because there is a personal connection. When you have a foundation or other complexion product that matches you perfectly, it's really hard to find that. And when you find that magic, you want to repurchase that product over and over and over again, where, you know, lipsticks and eyeshadows really don't inspire that for the most part. They also talked about the function of brand loyalty programs and how important it is for every brand to have some kind of loyalty program to keep customers coming back. And then they dabbled a little bit in like NFTs and like whether they should be doing those. But another thing that I found fascinating is they were talking about the environmental certifications that you can get to say that you're environmentally friendly and whether those are worth it or not. One brand owner said that the sustainability certification that they got, they thought that they pretty much wasted their time doing it because people didn't really know that they even had it. It costs a lot of money to do, costs a lot of time, a lot of manpower, a lot of hours in order to get the certification, and they're just not seeing the payout for it because now that they have the certification, they're very limited and, you know, the packaging that they can use and the ingredients they can use and stuff like that, and it's just caused more trouble without any payoff because the customer doesn't seem to care that they have gotten this sustainability badge. Regarding the influencing. All right, I got to get on my soapbox for a second because this is an issue. This is a problem. I have been in this beauty space doing makeup reviews for over 10 years. And what I see happening is that the integrity just isn't there anymore for a lot of these newer influencers that are coming up. And the reason why is because they're not being rewarded for their integrity. They're being rewarded through views, through sponsorships, for not being honest, for being sensational, because that's how they get views. Just reviewing a product and giving information is not enough to get eyeballs on you anymore. For most people, it has to be more than that. And when you're not getting the views being honest and you are getting the views being sensational and or dishonest, then a lot of people are going that direction because that's how they're making their money. Regarding brands paying influencers to trash talk other brands, the big thing here is usually, if not always, there's no paper trail. So there's no way to know if this is happening or not. But I have a feeling it probably is happening. And we know as humans, money and power is a tremendous motivator, and morals will go out the window if you know you can get money and power. And think about it. If you're an influencer and you know that if you trash talk a product and they're going to pay you, let's say $10,000 to trash talk a product, and you have the power to bury a major cosmetic company, some people will take that deal. So what can we do as consumers to fight against this? Really and truly, the power we have is with the money that we spend and being very careful who we trust in the beauty space as far as our purchasing power. I know I value my individual dollar and I know that you do too. So taking the time to find more than one review of a product before we purchase it may be a good idea. If there's one thing I've learned in my 44 years of being on this rotating rock in the middle of space is that I can only control myself and my actions. So y'all know I'm just going to keep doing my thing over here and giving you the best product reviews possible. And that's all I can do, is talk to you about what's happening, do my own thing over here, and just hope that things get better. Y'all, Lipstick Queen has entered the chat. Oh my goodness, this is so interesting. So as you know, Forma Beauty Brands declared bankruptcy quite a while ago, back in January. I've been following it very closely, following the now 400 submissions over on the docket. And I am sad to say that I missed something back in February, but the new information helped me to be able to go back and rewind and kind of connect it to the things that happened last week. In previous weeks, we've talked about Space NK being involved, which is a British beauty company. Them being involved in all of this. This is one of the big pieces that Space NK is involved in because they're the ones who own Lipstick Queen. Hello, editing Jen here. As I was editing, I realized I got this wrong and I needed to make sure I corrected it. So Space NK does not own Lipstick Queen. Forma Brands did buy Lipstick Queen back in 2020, but Space NK owned some licensing rights to the names of Lipstick Queen and Frog Prince, which is one of their lines. It looks like Forma wanted to be in control of those licensing rights, so they tried to buy those licensing rights from Space NK for $6 million. But by then, Forma was already going through financial difficulties with all of the malls being closed and them owing rent on all of these Morphe stores. And they were just really struggling. So they had set up a plan of when they were going to pay Space NK for these licensing rights, and it just never happened. I think at this point, I've got everything else right in this piece, but just kind of keep that in mind as I'm going through the rest of the details of this part. All right, back to the show. I'm going to try to be very careful with the language because it doesn't go into specific details, but here is the settlement proposed by Space NK's lawyer, or Lipstick Queen's lawyer. Forma is to pay them $1 million for the intellectual property rights. That is for Lipstick Queen and for Frog Prince, which was one of their lines. It was a color-changing green line. And that made me think, it's like, what happened? Like, why did it go from $6 million to $1 million. But if you notice, if you were ever looking for Lipstick Queen since 2020, they're not freaking anywhere. They're no longer sold at Ulta. You can't even find them on the Lipstick Queen website. They're not sold even at Space NK anymore. They are nowhere. So maybe the value of the brand has just dropped over the past 3 years. So there was a little argument back and forth in the courtroom between the two lawyers. They were going back and forth about how that money was going to be paid.
I do represent Space NK, and the comment that was just made, I'm not clear on that, and so I'd just like an opportunity to speak to counsel offline after the hearing just to make sure that we do share that understanding. I don't necessarily object to that, but that is not something that had been discussed with me.
If I may just address it really quickly, and happy to do it offline, but if you see, and you don't have the exhibits, you're getting your $1 million either way. So that probably, it's just the source of that $1 million in the exhibits that I gave to Her Honor at Exhibit 2 shows it as a source and use. Your source and use, it's coming from the dip. It's not going to affect the timing. It's not going to affect your payment. And it is the same $1 million payment. It's just moved from whether the buyer would put more money in or they're going to use the dip to pay it. But you're getting the exact same amount.
Oh, and I appreciate that. I'm happy to discuss it further. I don't have copies of these exhibits. None have been provided to me. So that, if we can just pick up with that conversation offline before the order signed.
We will do so. Thank you.
The purchase of Forma and all of their child companies is what I like to call them. That includes Morphe and Jaclyn Cosmetics. That is moving along. As we talked about last week, there were no bidders. Like, nobody wants these freaking companies. The first bidder was two of their lenders. It's Jeffries Finance LLC, not Jeffree Star, They've been around longer than he's been alive. And then Cerberus Capital Management. They're the ones who are looking to buy Forma and Morphe and Jaclyn Cosmetics and all of the companies underneath. So that looks like it's moving along because literally no one else wants this company and no one is outbidding them. But some good news for anybody that currently works at Forma. The new owners will, quote, hire substantially all current employees, including senior management, vendors, and contracts will be upheld and they will continue to do business. So I did see there was some confusion online about, is Morphe going out of business? Absolutely not. Jaclyn Cosmetics is not going out of business. None of these companies are going out of business. They're just being purchased. And then the final little bit of tea that we got has to do with the people that they owe money. So there's two different categories. There's the secured creditors and the unsecured creditors. The people that had contracts open, those are being paid by what they call cure amounts. And it looks like a lot of those people, if not all of them, are going to be paid. The employees of the Morphe stores are going to be paid. There's about $33 million to pay out to the people that are like the top priority people. Unfortunately, that leaves a lot of people not getting paid. They literally had thousands and thousands of people and entities that they needed to pay that they're not going to, because there is only $1.25 million to pay those people, and that some of them were owed more than $1.25 million just in one person. $1 million of it is being reserved from part of the loan deal, but the $250,000 is actually being given by investors. They said this in the court hearing. The investors are mostly the founders and another related entity, and you could hear the lawyer being very careful not to identify the other related entity. The founders are Chris and Linda Twill.
The investors, mostly the founders and another related entity who sold the assets, are contributing $250,000 in exchange for what you will see is a release of any claims that they may have, and I'll put on some testimony about that, or I will tell you about the legal analysis with respect to that. First, there is the negotiation with the committee and the lenders to leave $1 million behind, and I think that's based upon that unencumbered asset and the litigation and all of that. I think that's...
1 or 1.25?
Now I'm going to do the 2 points. The 250 is sort of separate, and that's what I want to make sure that the court understands with the chart. The 250, which is why I think we should go back to the corporate chart. Back in 2019, there was a transaction in which, I'm going to say simply, if you go to the corporate chart and you look above the corporate chart where there's nothing, just say those are the investors. Mm-hmm. And there were previously investors that sold Morphe, which is Morphe LLC down below, to the company, let's call it, because of the way the deal was structured, but it was really to GA. The money came in from Jeffries at FB debt financing, thus its name. The money that then went up by way of essentially a distribution up, went all the way up to the investors, and the investors were diluted of their share, but they still had some interest in the company.
So they are part of this $250,000. The other person, I believe, based on the dates that they're talking about 2019, all of this, is probably Miles McCormick, who used to be the CEO of Forma from 2017 into early 2022. But this is the reason why they're putting in this $250,000, if I understood it correctly. The purpose of their $250,000 payout is to protect these particular investors of Forma from a future lawsuit. It also grants them a, quote, waiver of certain deficiency and unsecured claims by pre-petition and unsecured parties. And basically what that says to me is that they probably owe people money. And if they give this $250,000, they can be free and clear. Lawyers, please correct me if I got that wrong. But it's a safety net for them to be like, well, we contributed as much as we could, so we are now out of it. The closing of this lawsuit is said to be April 7th. That is when everything will go through. And personally, based on looking at the financials of Forma and how irresponsible they were in spending money, we're going to see a big pullback of that, a big pullback in marketing, a big pullback in the production of products, and really being smart about the new products that they are creating. But we will see. That's the tea. Moving on to the next story. The title of the most followed woman on Instagram has changed hands. For the longest time, it was Kylie Jenner, of course, owner of Kylie Cosmetics. It has now switched. The most followed woman on Instagram is now Selena Gomez. She has become the first woman to reach 400 million Instagram followers. That's a lot. But to be clear, that is just the brand founders, not the brands themselves. According to Style Craze, Kylie Cosmetics is still the most popular celebrity-owned beauty brand, but it is followed in second place by Selena Gomez's Rare Beauty. The Instagram accounts for the two brands, if you look at them, Kylie Cosmetics is still way in the lead, 25.7 million followers to Rare Beauty's 5.1 million. Now, that's still a lot of followers. Kylie Cosmetics has been around for so much longer. They also have a much wider reach of where they sell their products than Rare Beauty, so it makes sense. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that the big spike in Selena's followers has to do with the drama that's happening between her and Hailey Bieber and all of that. I will be honest with you, I have not been following it closely. I am not getting involved in it. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on it, but my opinion is just that Selena's gotten a lot of followers over it, is what I see. And it probably isn't as related to Rare Beauty as it is to her personal life. But the question is, could the drama give Rare Beauty more traction, more customers, bump them up as far as their sales? Only time will tell. All right, my friend, moving on to the product report. So excited about this one. My girl, Angie Newquist, just launched her beauty brand, Singe Beauty, with a 5-piece brush set. So excited for her. It is exclusive to singebeauty.com. It is $55. It does look like it is currently sold out. I'm sure Angie will do a restock. Congratulations. I cannot wait to see where the brand goes next. So proud of you. I know how much work you've put into this and how much time and effort into all of the little details to make sure this is exactly what you wanted it to be for the people that follow you and beyond. So congratulations, Angie. Just so happy for you. Mascaras seem to be a big thing this week. We have two major brands coming out with new mascaras. The Fenty Hella Thick Volumizing Mascara. They call it their newest ultra creamy black formula, featuring a tapered brush that coats, curls, and lifts every lash. They say that it is sweat, humidity, and transfer resistant. It is going to be online on March 28th and then in stores on March 31st. We also have Kylie Cosmetics coming out with a new mascara. This is the Kylash Volumizing Mascara. It is launching on April 6th. They say it will give a full lifted defined lash that feels weightless. Also launched this week from ColourPop, the Legend of Kora collection. This is part of the Avatar Last Airbender franchise. From what I understand, I don't know anything about that, so if I said that wrong, I apologize. I don't know anything about this, but I know that it is very popular and a lot of people are very excited about this. So it is $118 for the entire collection. Individual prices range from $10 to $24 per product. And of course, the way ColourPop does, there are also some smaller bundles in there as well. There's the Legend of Kora eyeshadow palette, 4 multi-chrome liquid eyeshadows. Those look absolutely beautiful. We have 2 French Kiss lip creams, 2 graphics ink liners, and a Super Shock highlighter. Lights Lacquer released a new nail polish collection called Dream a Little Dream. There are 4 polishes and nail stickers in the collection, $46 for the bundle or $11 each. Really beautiful, perfect for spring. I have to geek out for a second. There was a movie that I was obsessed with when I was a kid called Dream a Little Dream, and it makes me want to buy this. Even though that movie was on the edge of terrible, I will never really feel that it was terrible, even though I know most people will say that it was terrible. I loved that movie as a kid, even though it kind of made no sense. It had the Corys in it, okay? It was special. A lot of people very excited about this next launch as well. This is from Nomad Cosmetics. It is the Royal Europe palette. It does launch on Tuesday, March 28th. 28th. And then over at Sydney Grace, I actually have these to show you in PR, purchased product of the week. They were kind enough to send these over. This is the Luminous Light Face Palette. It does come in 3 different shades, light, medium, and deep, as well as the Unbreakable Bond eyeshadow palette that comes in 2 different depths. It will be available on March 27th. The face palette is $28 and the eye palette is $60. It is what is on my face today. I've got a first impression review for you coming up in just a moment. But first we need to move over to Sephora and Ulta and talk about what's new there. So the first thing is the Makeup by Mario MoistureGlow Plumping Lip Color, $24, 13 shades there. They say it's weird. I don't even know what Mario is doing over here, honestly. There's something weird going on. Let me tell you what it says this is. It is a lip gloss. It is also a lip balm and treatment. It is also a liquid lipstick, and it is also a lip plumper. It is all of those things, apparently. A full coverage water-infused liquid lip color that hydrates and visibly plumps with a weightless, glossy feel. From the photos, it really does look like a glossy liquid lipstick. It's got like a little bit of skincare going on in there, but it also has menthol lacetate, which is a cooling agent that helps you think that you're plumping your lips when you're not really plumping the lips. It's just cold. But what it does have in there is it does have some humectants to pull water into your skin, and it could give you some temporary plumping. This one I had to look up because I thought this came out before, but apparently this is new. This is the Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Mattifying Plus Blurring Setting Spray. It is $38. They say it is a weightless, alcohol-free matte setting spray that locks on makeup up to 16 hours, helps blur pores, and controls shine for a soft, focused finish. The ingredient deck on this is really interesting. Let's talk about it real quick. So the base is various forms of plastic. It's got, copolymers and PVP, and that's what's going to help lock the makeup in place. Then we have beyond that some humectants, of course, to lock in water, which is great. There's also some things that are typically used for oily skin. So there is niacinamide, there's bakuchiol, and there's witch hazel extract. They also tout lentil seed extract, which to me, from what I've researched about it, is more of an antioxidant than anything, but still, honestly, I feel like it's kind of nice to see skincare infused into something like a setting spray that is really, setting sprays have really just been an extra on top of your makeup to help your makeup last longer without any real skin benefits, so it's nice to see them trying. Who knows whether they actually penetrate the skin and help your skin to be better, but it's a nice thought, and it may, we just don't know. I think Tom Ford has lost his mind, or the people over at Tom Ford have lost their mind. This is the Cherry Collection. Now, when there's luxury stuff, you expect to pay an obnoxious price. You know that it's going to be overpriced, but is this normal? Is this what it normally is? I feel like this is higher. 2 4-pan eyeshadow palettes are $90 each, and the lipstick is $60. $90 for a 4-pan eyeshadow palette with sponge applicators. What? I guess some people that are buying this, the $90 is like a woo, they don't care. It's $90, just whatever. They see it, they buy it kind of thing, I guess. I mean, they are charging $135 for a candle on Sephora's website, so for a freaking candle that smells like their perfume, I don't know. They've lost their minds. But I guess people are buying it. If people weren't buying it, they wouldn't sell it for that price. Coming soon to Sephora, focus on complexion products because like we were talking about in top news, complexion products drive brand loyalty. So if they nail that shade range, if they make it so that people can find their shade, it is so much better for them as a brand. So let's talk about the Makeup Forever HD Skin Cream Contour and Highlight Sculpting Palette, $85 here, available exclusively to Rouge on March 28th, everyone else March 29th. It is a cream face palette. They say it has shades to conceal, contour, highlight, and underpaint like a pro for a flawlessly sculpted look. That sounds too complicated for me. I don't know if I would know how to use that, but that's just me. Then we have from Freck Beauty, the Face Hack Precision Sculpting Bronzer, $18, 6 shades there, coming on March 28th. Looks like a pretty nice gradient. Really neat packaging with that little peanut butter cup looking dial at the bottom. I think it's cute. At least it's something different, I give them credit for doing something different. Coming on March 31st, we have the Lawless Skin Smoothing Talc-Free Perfecting Powder, $39. They say it is a light to medium coverage, so you can use it as a foundation or you can use it to top other foundations. Also coming on March 31st, we have from Huda Beauty the GLOWISH Bright Light Hydrating Sheer Concealer, $27. It is a sheer concealer. It kind of looks like a BB cream for the under eye area. The idea is that you are just covering very light discoloration. It's supposed to not look like you're wearing any makeup at all. The dots on the Sephora purchase page look like there's a big jump into the one deep shade. But if you look at the actual shades that they have in the photo, it does look like a nicer gradient than the little dots show. But the thing about a sheer product is that your skin tone is gonna shine through. So I feel like the shade doesn't necessarily have to be quite as perfect as a more full coverage product. But we'll just have to see when reviews come out. I can see there being a big market for that now that the more natural makeup is more trendy. Moving over to Ulta. We have a program going on over at Ulta. I don't know how long it's been going on, but I figured I would mention it in case you're interested. Ulta's collaborating with a company called Pact for recycling hard to recycle makeup packaging. It's currently available at 90 Ulta stores. They do have a store finder for you to see if you have that at an Ulta near you. You can bring in empties from brands sold at Ulta, but also not sold at Ulta. It doesn't have to be. But the most important thing is that it has to be clean, dry packaging. If it is not clean, dry packaging, they will not accept it. It will just go straight in the trash. How to find an Ulta near you that participates, as well as how to participate, there's going to be a link down in the video description for you, or you can just search for the collaboration between Ulta and Pact and you'll find the link to the website. Ulta was kind of weird this week because Ulta is usually one of the first places where you can get a lot of these new launches, but this week it was a lot of stuff that we've already talked about now releasing at Ulta. So here's a quick rundown of some of those products. The Urban Decay 24/7 Inks Vegan Liquid Eyeliner, the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Shaper Lip Plumping Lip Liner, the Too Faced Born This Way Healthy Glow SPF 30 Skin Tint Foundation, and then two products from Tarte, the Blush Tape Liquid Blush and the Tarte Glow Tape Highlighter. Those were released at Sephora freaking forever ago, so it's weird that it's coming so late to Ulta. Really, the only thing I saw at Ulta that looked new this week was from Bobbi Brown. It's the dual-ended long wear cream shadow stick for $38. 7 different duos. I think it's cool that they have it in two, so you can try 2 different shades of it. I know when I was buying these, which was a while ago, I haven't bought one in a while, I didn't ever go through the entire shadow stick, so it's nice to have 2 colors to play with. All right, my friend, PR purchase product of the week. I have lots to share with you. The first one is a product that I was encouraged to try again by somebody that watched my Ulta video where I was trying the worst products at Ulta. I was kind of on the fence with some of the brow products, but I wanted to try this again. This is the Ulta Fiber Brow Tint, and that is what is in my brows today. I did not use a liner. I just used this. The hold on this is phenomenal, but I will show you because it made me laugh. That's one of the big reasons why I want to show you this. I tried it with the Gwen Stefani liner on first, like the brow pencil on first, and then I used this and my brows looked absolutely ridiculous. So I wanted to show you that picture because I just think that it's so freaking funny. So I'm going to keep playing with this. This product is honestly starting to grow on me a little bit. I will definitely keep you posted. I'm sure this will be in a favorites and fails countdown at some point. This is a fun product, man. The wand, of course, is still very janky and wonky, but the actual product itself is actually kind of fun. The new Sydney Grace products, again, sent in PR. I am wearing this on my cheeks today. This is the light people version of the cheek palette. I'm wearing the shade Sweet Pea, which I didn't think would even show up on me, but it totally does. I'm also wearing the Starlight bronzer and the Day Glow highlighter. I'm just going to swatch these for you real quick so you can see what they look like. There are the finger swatches. If you do not know, Sydney Grace is one of my favorite indie brands of all freaking time, just consistently quality products. So there is the Light People palette swatch. See how that Sweet Pea shade really does show up? I was shocked. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then the Unbreakable Bond palette. I do like the palette design. It's very cute. This is what it looks like on the inside. I am wearing on my eyes today, like this little corner down here with a little bit of this Adore Me shade. And then on my lid, I have Haley's Haze and Spring Fling. That is what's going on. Let me swatch a few of these for you. The foiled shades from Sydney Grace are just on another level. They're freaking phenomenal, but I want to show you some of the other shades as well. There are the finger swatches. And look how beautiful, effortless. Absolutely freaking effortless. So as you can probably tell, I'm already loving this palette. I mean, Sydney Grace, if you like the color story, you just can't go wrong. The formula is so consistent overall. It's very rare I find any Sydney Grace shadow that I'm just kind of like, meh, it's okay. They're stellar. It's just a stellar formula. I also want to share with you this that was sent to me from Sigma. This is like a color switch kind of situation, and I am loving this. You can see it's dirty because I've been using it. I'll share with you my method that I've been using is I just take a washcloth and I lay it on my lap, and I just kind of rub the brush on like my lap on the washcloth, but this works so much better. So you just take it and you just swirl it here, and it just makes sure that all the shadow is off of your brush before you move on to a different color, because nothing is worse than messing up your whole eye look because you didn't realize some color was still on from the previous color and you just did not want that, and now you have to fix it and it's a mess and you've just added at least 5 minutes to your makeup routine. So definitely recommend this. Really, really loving that. I also got in PR. Too Faced is doing so good with their PR, actually sending out timely PR. Love that for me and love that for you because I can tell you about it. This is the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper that just came out. I have first impression, it's weird. It's really freaking weird. So when you first open it, it is flat on the top. It's starting to get a little rounded because I used it, and the more I use it, I'm sure it'll get more pointed, but I wish that it came pointed because it was really difficult to use out of the gate, just being a flat round top. The other thing is that it doesn't retract. There's a button on the bottom. I can only do it once because I don't want to crank it up because it doesn't go back down. You push the button on the bottom and then the product comes out a little bit more, which in theory sounds great, but the fact that it doesn't go back down, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Also, you are going to get the burning sensation of the lip injections. It is in there. It is prominent. I've had this on for about 30 minutes and I can barely feel it at this point. I can still feel it a little bit. It can get a bit intense. I mean, it is a lip injection. That's what these things do. Do I see any physical plumping of my lips? Not to my naked eye, but maybe it might be. Hot pepper extract does tend to irritate the lips to the point where it will plump your lips a little bit. So it's possible. As far as the formula, I did really, really like the formula. It's very creamy. It feels good on the lips, was very easy to go on, very easy to blend. This is in the shade In Big Truffle, in case you were curious. I did top this though, because I can't do anything easy. I topped it with a lip gloss, and then also I put a little bit of the highlighter from Sydney Grace right in the middle just to make it pop a bit. But I really like this lip combo a lot. It's making me so happy. And then finally, I have one more thing that I have to share with you. This is Essence's new mascara. Y'all know how much I love Lash Princess. I think that Lash Princess has a competitor. I do. This is the Lash Like a Boss Instant Volume and Length Mascara. Now, Essence mascaras are very hit and miss for me. Some of them absolutely suck. I'm gonna be honest. Some of them are amazing. Lash Princess is one of my favorites. This one may beat Lash Princess. And I do not say that lightly, my friend. I do not say it lightly. The wand on this is freaking phenomenal. Let me show you. So it just feels good on the lashes. It kind of hugs the lashes as it goes on. And it's so big and fat that it holds on to product perfectly. There's a good amount of product that goes on there, but not too much. And it just applies beautifully. I don't know what is happening in this tube, but I am very impressed. And I don't remember the last time I was impressed with a mascara. Like, honestly, I do not remember. I don't remember. I can't think of one where I was actually impressed. So this is something that you should have on your radar. Definitely look out for other reviews of this and see if other people like it as much as I do. This is just a first impression. I'm going to keep using it, but very, very pleasantly surprised. Quite a few notable sales this week. We have from Kaja. I think I said it right this time. Usually I say Kaja, but I think it's Kaja. 30% off site-wide going on right now over there. Tarte is having an up to 70% off warehouse sale with an extra 20% off using code EXTRA20. Then we have Makeup Forever, 25% off friends and family sale with free shipping. We have up to 75% off site-wide at Sigma, just as a Sigma affiliate. Some suggestions for you. The F80 flat kabuki brush, freaking phenomenal phenomenal foundation brush, $15. The Multitasker is also a wonderful brush. That's $15.60 right now. For eye brushes, the E33 and the E27 are my favorites. I always forget the names. I just grab them. I don't look at the names. That's why I'm looking. But those are $9.60 each. If you wanted to try Sigma, this may be a good time to do it. I do have an affiliate code with them. I will link it down below for you. Also, to let you know, the Beautylish Spring Gift Card event is going on. It's essentially like a 20% off sale because you spend $100 and then you get a gift card for $20 of free whatever you want on a future purchase. So it's like not as good as 20% off, but it's basically 20% off. Because the thing is you have to spend $100 and you don't get the $20 gift card unless you spend $100. So you have to spend $100, $200. It's not my favorite sale, to be 100% with you. But if you do buy a lot of stuff at Beautylish, then this may be a time that you want to get some stuff. I know people that do shop at Beautylish love this sale. It's going on now, and if you shop during this period, you should get your gift card by April 4th to use on your next Beautylish order. And of course, the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale is still going on. I will link my recommendations for the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale down below in case you're curious what I think of the things that are on sale this week. And finally, we have made it to our artist shout out of the week. Allow me to introduce you to Persephone. Oh my goodness, they are absolutely freaking amazing. They are from the UK and they seem to be very inspired by Drag Race. They do call themselves a drag artist. So let us go into their first look. I have to read you the look number 1 caption because it is just so sweet. If you don't know, the UK Mother's Day just passed, and this says, 1 year clean and sober today, would not have been able to do it without support of my mom. And then they wish her a happy Mother's Day, which absolutely warmed my heart. But onto the look, it is just so freaking cool. The blue contour paired with the black lips and the liner, and of course the negative space around the eyes is just so perfectly done. Look number 2, just wow. Oh my gosh, the pearls are so perfectly placed. Like, I would just be like sticking the pearls all over the place, but there was clearly a plan here. And where the larger pearls are and the smaller pearls, just all the right places. I don't know how you even envision this as a human, like the way that these things are placed. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Of course, I also love the red skin in contrast with the pearls, absolutely gorgeous. And then the third look, I scrolled down a little bit to find this one because this one is just so neat. It is a clown look, of course, but it's the diffusion of the colors for me. It is absolute perfection. I also love the blue contour on the nose and the blown out lips. Really neat. The overdrawn liner, such a cool touch. And I also love that they didn't take the clown look all the way to the hairline, suggesting that this is a clown mask, of course, which of course we can get super deep into artistry and you know, the art of it and people wearing a clown mask and, you know, get real deep with it if we want to, but I'll let you get deep on your own. I'll get deep in my own brain because sometimes I just spiral off into weirdness. So I'll keep my artsy interpretation to myself, but if you would like to follow Persephone, their link to their Instagram is down below. Of course, I just followed them. All of the artists of the week are always linked in the description box. And that, my friend, was what's up in makeup this week. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, as always, thank you so much to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you so much for all of your submissions this week. I appreciate you so much. I do want to give you a heads up that there will be no What's Up in Makeup or chat for Easter weekend, which is in April. Just a quick heads up for that. I know it's a little ways away, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Our chat today is going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be hanging out talking about makeup. If you would like to join us, I would love for you to join us live. But if you can't join us live, absolutely no problem. People got stuff to do. You can totally watch it or listen to it on the replay. Very easy to find if you're subscribed. Just go to your subscription feed. Should be right there. But if you're not subscribed, you can also find it by going to my channel page. You're going to click on the live tab. That's where you'll find the live streams. They're not listed with the regular videos anymore. Click on the live tab. That's where all my live streams are housed, and you can watch it from there. And maybe past lives because, you know, past lives are cool. What? I don't know. Anyway, if you are not ready to go, it is no problem. I actually have some videos recommended to you right over here to watch, including last week's episode of What's Been Makeup in case you missed it. YouTube's going to recommend one for you personally right at the top. But if you do need to go, because again, you got stuff to do, no problem at all. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did. And love to you. And I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.